When Queen Esther unveils the enemy, he tells it's Haman, and the enemy is destroyed. She does not say this is the end. She still had other strategies to come and make sure the enemy is totally dealt with. She also had the strategy to go and then now do some activities to reverse what had been decreed against the Jews.
Hello once again. Thank you for joining us for Prophetic Word Bitesize. We are coming to the close of 2023, the year of the release of our potential through the knowledge and the wisdom of Jesus Christ. We're continuing to look into the Word of God at the book of Esther to glean the nuggets of wisdom that God has placed there for us in this year, according to the word that our mother, Dr. R.F. Utaunashe, delivered to us at the beginning of this year. She commissioned us to go out there to seek God for the release of the potential that God has placed in us. And so today we're talking about divine reversals. We're talking about how God works in the situations of our lives so that when things look like they can never be good, that no good can come out of it, God brings a great victory for his people. When we look at the book of Esther, as the Jews had finished fighting and they had won over their enemies, the Bible tells us that in that day, when the enemies of the Jews had thought that they would have power over them, but it was turned around so that the Jews had power over their enemies. And that is God's intention for our lives. The Bible also tells us in the book of Romans in chapter 8 that God causes all things to work together for the good of those that love him, to those that are called according to his purposes. We see also in Genesis chapter 50 and verse 20, Joseph is talking to his brothers. His brothers had sold him into slavery. They had lied to his father that he had been killed by wild animals when they knew well enough that they'd sold him into slavery because of their envy, because Jacob had loved Joseph more than all his sons. But God had a purpose for Joseph's life. And Joseph says to his brothers, "You meant these things for evil, but God turned it around for good to save many people alive." So today I want to encourage you, if any of the situations of your life look hopeless, if it looks like things are too difficult for you, if you're going through transitions where you're letting go of things, where you're letting go of relationships, where things seem insanely difficult, I want you to always know that in all those situations, God is present and he is working it. Every single detail of your life, nothing will go to waste. He is working it all out for good. And it is important that we keep our hearts in him, that we abide in him, that we keep faith in God, because once we turn away from him, we're no longer aligned with his working concerning our lives. We will no longer be able to benefit from what God has ordained for these situations to bring forth. So I pray today that the God of all comfort will comfort your heart, even in the situations that you're in, that you'll be able to endure, to suffer long, with the knowledge that when everything is said and done, God has a plan for the good of your life. I pray that you will be empowered by the Spirit of the living God to enter into the rest of the living God, into the knowing that no matter what your circumstances are, no matter what you're facing today, God has a plan for good, because God's ways are not our ways. And in some ways we may look at things and think, no, this shouldn't have happened. But God knows every detail of our lives. He has seen the end even from the beginning. And he knows the process. We know that even when Joseph was going through his process, he had seen the dreams. He knew that God had a big plan for his life. He'd even shared it with his brothers. He was so confident. But then he had never been shown the process that he would go through. He never was shown that he would be sold into slavery, that he would go into prison, that he would spend so many years in these places. But when we look at the role that Joseph played once he came into God's purpose for his life, all these things prepared him for that space. So I want you to be encouraged today, because whatever present sufferings are in your life, whatever the things the devil has brought into your life, remember that they are not worthy to be compared to the glory of God that is going to be revealed over your life. God has a glory that he wants to reveal over your life, and I pray that he will give you the grace, he will give you the strength to be patient in hope, to continue to place your hope in him. The Bible tells us that they that wait upon the Lord will renew their strength. They will mount up with wings as eagles. They will run, they will not be weary, and they will walk, and they will not faint. I pray that the Lord will give you the strength to wait, because it is your destiny to mount up with wings as an eagle. God bless you.